Surprise. Surprise. Bitcoiners. Bitcoiners. Traders. Bitcoiners. Supporters. Followers. Subscribers. Haters. Bitcoin negators. All of you. Wherever you are in the world, I don't know if it's good morning for you or good afternoon, good evening. We do draw an international audience here. So wherever you are in the world, welcome. Welcome to another live stream or live talk by Oliver Velez, of course. My name is Oliver Velez, and we're going to talk about my favorite topic, a topic that has been the absolute favorite of mine since, the beginning of 2020, actually. And I have a very fascinating topic to address today as it relates to Bitcoin and overall financial markets in general. But very fascinating topic to talk to you today. And I think it's very well timed for the very special event that we're coming upon in less than 24 hours, actually, which is Bitcoin's fourth halving. Now, I hope you had an opportunity to take in or absorb the content that I shared with you yesterday in what turned out to be almost a 3-hour long session. That's crazy. Guys, I told you, I can talk your ear off about this. I can talk your ear off. You got to shut me up sometimes. You're not going to be able to shut me up. I'm sorry. All right, guys. Well, listen, welcome. I appreciate all of you being here. I truly appreciate the people who really take the time to kind of join me live. And I know that you're not always able to do that. And for those of you who, just in case, for those of you who are here live and happen to be here live by chance, I do want you to understand that you will not always be able to catch my lives. And I will tell you that every single live that I do is going to be and always is made available on my Bitcoin podcast. That is called Bitcoin Unleashed. I want you to find that on YouTube, find that on Spotify, find that on Fountain app, find that on Apple, Google. You pick the podcasting platform of your choice. You'll find Bitcoin Unleashed there. Find it, subscribe to it. It's hours and hours, weeks and weeks and months of my Bitcoin talks and on topics that I believe are directly related to the value proposition of Bitcoin and why every single human being needs to get off zero and have some exposure to this, because the window of opportunity that we have right now with the scarcest asset on planet Earth, and in less than 24 hours, the hardest money and the hardest asset human beings have ever been exposed to. It's going to be extraordinarily important. And while we will always, people, have the ability to access Bitcoin, it'll always be available to the human race. What I'm saying when I say that our window of opportunity is small, I'm not saying that our window of opportunity to access this is small. That is forever. Human beings will forever have Bitcoin at their disposal, Bitcoin available to them. What I'm talking about is that period of time where you can own chunks of the actual protocol that I believe will run the financial and monetary system of the world. We've never been given the opportunity as human beings to own the protocol of anything on planet Earth. And so every protocol has always basically either been inaccessible to human beings, or it's been controlled by a very small group or a very small number of human beings. This is the first time that I believe that something is going to be extraordinarily important for the human race. It is going to be a protocol that runs the layer of value for all human beings and all entities and all companies and things of that nature, not unlike the internet. We were not given the opportunity to own a piece of the internet, but we watched the internet change the lives of every single human being on Earth practically. It has infiltrated and invaded every corner of human existence. It also gave birth to the most valuable assets on planet Earth. Apple, Microsoft, it didn't give birth to these firms, but it gave birth to the first $1 trillion assets on planet Earth. And the internet, which is a protocol, a global protocol, we were not able to own the protocol itself. We were able to own all of the entities or the companies that tied their existences into that protocol, such as the Apples, the Microsofts, the NVIDIAs of the world, the Metas of the world. We could actually own the things on top of the protocol, but we never got an opportunity to own the protocol itself. And I am telling you that the internet was the protocol of information and knowledge, but it lacked the most important thing. It lacked the money component. It lacked the true monetary value component. And Bitcoin has come into existence, has come into our lives to add that final piece, which is the biggest piece of all. All right. Information and knowledge has its place. It's extraordinarily important. But without value, it's incomplete. And Bitcoin is that incomplete part. Do you understand what I'm saying? It adds the money component to information and knowledge. It adds the value component. And it's the biggest thing in the world. Money, as much as you might think, in a contrarian way, money makes the world go around. Value makes the world go around. You wake up every single day of your life focused on money, don't you? Focused on value, don't you? Which is another word for money. And so for the first time, we have a protocol that is actually the most important protocol of all. And you and I have the ability. We have access to it. And we can grab chunks of it, like the first few people to have the ability to grab chunks of Manhattan Island. Are you kidding me? Are you freaking kidding me? This is what I mean. Having access to Manhattan is a different thing. Anyone in the world with a plane ticket or car, if they live in the States, can have access to Manhattan. But a very small percentage of human beings on planet Earth own chunks of Manhattan. Do you understand? We are in the chunky stage of Bitcoin. This is what must be understood. We're in that stage where you and I can stake our claim and say this patch of this protocol belongs to me and my family, and you can't have access to it. I have access to it. It is mine. No human being can touch it. No human being can confiscate it. No human being can influence it. No human being can debase it. No human being can steal it from me. And this is a protocol that is mathematically guaranteed to increase my family, increase my power, increase my wealth, increase my value, mathematically proven every single 4 years forever. And it is the first protocol, the first thing of value that extends my life beyond my physical life. Yes, there is a life beyond your physical body. And there are few people that have managed to accomplish that. All right. We still have companies like Ford and we still have, the Rockefeller dynasty and so forth and so on. And for the first time, every single human being who understands this right now can extend their legacy into the future. We can take the value that we earn right today and make sure that value is never dissipated, never stolen from, never made less. And I can send that value into the future so that my kids, their kids, the kids of my kids, and their kids of their kids, and their kids of their kids, and their kids of their kids can actually benefit from that. Guys, when this epiphany hit me, I just had to share it. I had to. And so that's what I'm doing here with you today. We are coming upon a very historic event, as I mentioned in my talk yesterday. And once again, guys, if you haven't seen that, you have to. It is an absolute must. I know it's long, but I have actually had my team do a playlist that broke up that near 3-hour talk into snippets and clips, very digestible. Grab a few, go on the treadmill every single day, put some headphones on and get 20 minutes in, get 30 minutes in, get 40 minutes in, walk your dog around the park. You understand what I'm saying? Go out and touch some grass and get some freaking sun with some headphones on and take some of that content in. All right. I spent a lot of time and I put a lot of effort into this. And I'm proud to say that some of that effort has paid off in the form of changing people's lives over the past, well, since early 2020. And I'm hoping that it has an effect on your life as well. All right. All right, guys. So come on in. Come on in. Guys, I finally found out how to do this. I'm actually broadcasting on my main channel in YouTube. Now, on YouTube, I have, I don't know, 330,000 followers. That is largely my trading platform, where I have been covering for years certain trading tactics and techniques and my approaches and my philosophy regarding trading the markets for a living. But Bitcoin is something very unique. It's something that I do not believe that any human being should be thinking about trading. And so I decided that all of my talk, all of my content focused on Bitcoin would be apart for the most part from my YouTube channel. And just not to confuse the messages. I have been known in the industry since the late 1980s, the mid to late 1980s, as one of the OG traders. I built a fairly big name in the trading community. And so people understand me more as a trading expert, but I didn't want to mix the messages here because Bitcoin is not to be traded. You don't trade Bitcoin, you trade everything else for Bitcoin. All right. And so that is why I do a lot. For the last 2 years, I've done a lot of my content regarding Bitcoin only on Twitter or X.com, formerly known as Twitter. All right. But I did decide to join both groups here today just to see if I could make it work. All right. Now, I will say this very quickly before I get started in today's topic, because I want to explain to you how you can possibly, listen to me carefully, you can possibly go to sleep and one morning wake up and Bitcoin is at 100,000 or 500,000, maybe even 1 million. This can happen in an instant. This can happen in a single moment. This can happen in a very short period of time. And I think there's a lot of misunderstanding around the possibility of this happening. It seems like pipe dreams or some, Bitcoin maximalist wet dream, but these erroneous notions around not understanding it, these erroneous notions are largely, they're predicated on a lack of understanding of how financial markets work and how free markets work. And so I want to delve in that topic. I want to delve in that today. If someone could tell, so guys, before I get started, I do want to tell you, listen, I have glasses. Yesterday, I did almost a 3-hour event for you. I tried to do it without glasses. I got through the whole thing and I spent the entire night with a freaking migraine like I've never had before. Guys, I have sensitive eyes. You can see the light flares in the back of me here. I can't do it. All right. I tried to do it for you yesterday. I got to have the glasses. If it bothers you, move on. I'm sorry. Okay. All right. This is not me trying to be cool. This is just me trying to protect my eyes and me from having these incredible migraines when there are lights flashing. All right. In my face. All right. Okay, guys, so let's get started. All right, let's go. I think the number that I see showing here, it shows 1,186 people. I think it's giving me my Twitter following. If someone can tell me how many people are live on YouTube, that would be a great help. All right. That would be interesting to know. So if you can type it here in the comments. I do see your comments, by the way. All right, guys. So a couple things I want to start off with. Let me just do this and turn my phone off here. All right. So grab something to write with. Grab the beverage of your choice. I've got some coffee here. We're going to talk about some things that might be worthy enough to take some notes on. Okay. Okay. There is this notion, it's a very popular one actually, that the higher Bitcoin's price goes, the harder it is to rise because the higher price requires more money. Now, at first glance, that concept, that notion sounds quite intelligent, right? Well, it takes a lot more money at $63,500 to move Bitcoin than it did at $63.50, right? So from a seemingly logical point of view, the notion sounds correct. Oliver, Bitcoin is not going to experience these dramatic gains like it did in the past because at 63,000, it just requires massive amounts of money to move it when it didn't require massive amounts of money to move it when it was 63. So the amount to move Bitcoin at 63,500 is far greater than it took to move the price at $63.50. Now, is this correct? Well, yes, but also no. And this is going to be the gist of our talk today, the crux of our conversation today. All right, so let me explain to you how this is true and not so true. Yes, it is true that it takes more money today to buy one Bitcoin, $63,500, than it did when Bitcoin was at $63.50. I get it. But what people who are not truly they're not savvy in the financial world, they don't understand that in financial markets, there's something called a multiplier. The multiplier effect, okay? And so the multiplier effect is what is missed when it comes to this erroneous notion that it's going to take zillions of dollars to get Bitcoin from 63 to 500,000. Not necessarily, maybe, but not necessarily. So what is the multiplier effect? And I believe it was in sometime in the beginning or mid 2021 or late 2020, sometime in 2021, the Bank of America came out with a study. And their study revealed that Bitcoin, based on their analytics, had a 118 to 1 multiplier, which is to say that every $1 into Bitcoin produces $118 of extra value in the entire network. Now, if you're not familiar with financial markets, that will sound very strange to you. How can $1 push Bitcoin's value $118? That doesn't make sense, right? Well, let me explain it to you. The best way I can explain the multiplier effect in financial markets is with real estate. All right, because all of you are familiar with the multiplier effect in real estate, all of you. Then I'll take another industry that some of you are familiar with as well, okay? But we're gonna take real estate first, the multiplier effect. Let's say you have a gated community. This gated community has 40 homes, all right? There's 20 homes on one side of the community and another 20 homes on the other side of the community. Limited community, beautiful homes, 40 all, gated, protected, the best amenities on planet Earth, and views that just make you say, wow, there is a God, okay? Imagine this, right? 40 homes, gated community. These homes are selling I'm going to give you a crazy price. Let's say they're selling for 600,000. In the United States, no, but maybe in Colombia, yes. All right. But okay. So these homes are selling for 600,000 a piece. Now, most of the sales that have taken place recently, they have sold for around 600,000. So the average sale, maybe a little bit more, maybe a little less, but the average sale is 600,000. All right. 40 homes are valued around 600,000. They're practically the same. They're in the same gated community. All right. They have the same amenities. They have the same protection. They're in the same location. They have the same school system. Everything's pretty much the same. So almost every one of the properties sells pretty close to 600,000. Well, listen to me carefully. One day, one of the members of this community sells his home for 800,000. Oh, John down sold for $800,000. Wow. This should make all other 39 homeowners extraordinarily happy. Why? Because one sale at 800,000, an extra 200,000 for one of the 40 homes, instantly raises the value of every single freaking home in the community. And guess where it raises it to? Close to or thereabouts 800,000. Now, did it take 200,000 for 40 times to raise the entire value of that community? No, it took one. That's the multiplier effect in financial markets, people. And people who aren't familiar with these aspects of how financial markets work, they come up with these silly notions like, well, it's going to take everyone to buy a home, all 40 homes at 800,000 to value the neighborhood at $8 million more. No, dude. One sale of one home raises the entire neighborhood $8 million more. 200,000 in one home raised the value of the neighborhood 8 million. Or if you don't want to count the 200, 7.8 million, 7,800,000. So do you understand this? A few of you people, give me comments. Let me know if you understand what I'm saying here. It takes one sale, one price, one transaction to instantly raise the value of the entire network or the entire neighborhood or the entire community or all existing supply. One price, one transaction can dramatically increase the perception of value. Value is subjective, people. Do you understand? Value is subjective. So think of, let's go a little further with this neighborhood. Let's go a little further with this neighborhood analogy, right? So John just sold for 800,000. My house, I was getting ready to sell for 600,000. I'm calling my realtor, dude, listen, 600,000. I know that's in the rip that contract up, buddy. We're going to 800,000. And anybody else who is planning to sell at 600,000, you think they're going to sell at 600,000? Hell no. The same home went for 800,000. Everyone raises their price. Now, the buyers who are coming in say, well, the last one sold for 800,000. So I guess all of these are worth 800,000. Value, perception of value changed just like that. And so people who are entrenched in the financial world, they understand this multiplier effect. And those who don't, they get this idea that every house has to be sold to raise the value of the neighborhood. That's not true. So one day, let's go back to Bitcoin. One day, you can go to sleep at night And I don't know, maybe there's some massive event overseas. Maybe there's some catastrophe or collapse or what have you that instantly changes the perception of the value of Bitcoin. I went to bed and it was 63,500. It said 150 this morning. What the fuck happened? Perception change. All it takes is for one transaction to occur there. And all it takes after that is for everyone who has Bitcoin to say, well, if they got 150, I'm not selling at 70. Hell no, I'm selling at 150 or even higher. And instantly you raise the value, the perception, the value of the entire network just like that. Do you understand? Are you picking up what I'm laying down, people? Does this make sense? The multiplier effect? One, two, or a small handful of transactions at a higher price, and everyone pulls their offers and say, I'm not selling lower than that. Would you sell lower than that? If sales were going off at 150, you woke up and sales are going up at 150, but you said, well, I went to sleep and Bitcoin was at 63, so I'm going to sell at 63 because that's where it was when I was asleep. Meanwhile, everyone else is transacting at 150. No, you're going to transact at 152. All right. So this multiplier effect, guys, this can happen, and it is not without historical precedent. The scenario that I am explaining to you has happened in every single market you can think of. Oh, yes. What do you think a gap up in the stock market is? This stock is now opening $45 higher than it closed yesterday. What do you think that is? Did people buy every penny all the way up? No. It took one person willing to buy up there, and everyone with the shares said, well, I'm up there too. Do you understand? That's what gaps are in the market, in the stock market. No, you live with gaps in the stock market every single freaking business day. There's never a day where nothing doesn't gap. You think Bitcoin can't all of a sudden gap? Oh, well, Bitcoin is different. Dude, if the equity market can gap, Bitcoin can freaking mega gap. Because Bitcoin is the equity market on freaking steroids. Do you understand? You know what I'm saying, guys. So this is crazy, though. So when I'm explaining to you, please, you got to get off zero. I don't know what the right amount for you is. Do you understand? I don't know that. I don't know who you are. I don't know your personal circumstances. I don't know these things about you. But what I do know is that if you have zero, now I'm sorry, you're an idiot. You are an idiot. I don't mean that to put you down. It's just that it's 15 years now. Like, come on. It's 15 years. It's the best performing asset the world has ever known. We got 15-year history. It's not talking about we got 15 days. Oh, yeah, so it was impressive over 15 days, Oliver. Like, okay, woohoo, 15 years. Were you going to wait 85 years when you're about to leave us? Dude, there's no more proof that's necessary. It's never been down in the last 10 years. There's no more proof. It's the most secure network human beings have ever encountered. There's no more proof that's necessary, people. It is number one in every conceivable category. It has outpaced, outperformed, and completely destroyed everything human beings have ever valued in their entire existence. It has come on the scene to dominate, and we got 15 years to look at. Do you understand? It's not 15 days. And so if you're still on zero now, you're just dumb. You're not paying attention, and your family is going to fault you for an eternity. Oh, yes, your family will fault you. Let me explain to you why you will be remembered by children in your bloodline that haven't even been born yet. They will remember your name, and they will trash your name as being the stupidest person in your entire family line. You've heard stories before of how something amazing like 10 acres of a valuable property that's obviously valuable today, one of your relatives could have gotten for $10. They were selling this to you for $1 an acre. Now it's $10 million an acre. My uncle could have bought that for $1 an acre, and it's 10 million. Imagine how stupid he is. They're gonna tell their friends, their cousins, their neighbors, you're gonna be the dunce, do you understand, of your family forever. Because we are unique in this specific period of time as it relates to Bitcoin. We're at a stage where you can still buy it, and you can still buy it in sufficient quantities. There's going to be a point not too far in the future where you're not going to be able to buy it. And before that, there's going to be a point where, yes, you're going to be able to buy it, but what is your little $100 going to do? Let me add my little $100 on here. And $100 at $5 million of Bitcoin, what's your $100 going to do? It can do something now, but in the future, what are you going to do? You're going to live in the dust. I used to love Westerns when I was a kid. I'm a lot older than a lot of you guys. So I used to watch Westerns, and I remember the guys used to pull up in the saloon, and some of the wealthier cowboys or whatever, they had the pouches with the gold coins. And they'd pull out the gold coins, boom, and you'd hear the sound of the gold coin. That's where sound money comes from. It makes a certain sound because you couldn't verify it. You didn't have chemicals to verify the gold. So you listen to the sound. And if you watch these Westerners, they always had to slap the gold coin on the bar table because the bartender would be able to detect that's not freaking real gold. Slap it. It is real gold. Slap it again. Nope, that's not real gold. Real gold has a certain sound. So the concept of sound money came from this practice. Let me hear it. Because if it had something hollow in it, it would not have the same sound, right? So the wealthier cowboys and the Westerners, they'd pull out the pouches, right, with the gold coins. And then you'd have like the poorer ones, they'd pull out the pouches and they had the gold dust. You're going to be which one? You're going to be the coin cowboy? Cowboys? Or are you going to be the freaking poor dusters? That's where the dusters come in, right? That's where that term comes in. You're a duster, boy. I dust you. You're paying the little dust of Bitcoin. It's going to the dust phase where the possibility to grab chunks of this is going to be over for the entire human race. We are unique in that we're living at a time like the people who lived at a time when America was discovered. I like to tease that. Oh, well, America was discovered. There's people here, but we discovered it. Anyway, you know what I'm saying. All right. I was taught that America was discovered, all right, by the Europeans. Right? Anyway, so this discovery, during this early discovery period, right, to foster greater exploration, to foster more pioneering, more spreading out over the land, they would have what's called land runs. Land runs. Literally, they would go to the saloons and nail announcements in the saloons. Tomorrow at 12 noon, we have a land run over here. Bring your family. All right. We're running for acres of land. And they would literally give out free land. They'd have a 60-second run or a 2-minute run. They'd have chalk lines or what have you, or rows lined up with numbers. And each family could pick a member who they felt was the fastest member of the family. And the person at the starting line would say, look, I've got a gun. When I shoot this off, you take off, you take this wooden stake, you run until you hear the gun go off again. And as soon as you hear the gun, you stop, you drop to your knees, and you stake your claim. And wherever that family member put that wooden stake into the frickin' ground, from the starting point to where the stake was their land. Free land, land run in the United States. When is the last time you've heard of a land run in the United States? Free. I'll wait. You understand what I'm saying? Now, Bitcoin's not free today. It was. It's not free today. But we're still in that early part where you could still get it for pennies. We're not in the dust phase yet. Do you understand what I'm saying? This is what I mean by our window of opportunity is closing, because the land run days are going to end very quickly. Your $100 is not going to do a lot way up there. It can still do something here at 63,500. Do you understand? $1. Listen to this. Listen to this. This is crazy. $1 put into Bitcoin in 2010, $1 is $90 million today. You don't believe me? Go look it up. Go ahead. Look it up. $1, 90 million today. Now that's life-changing generational wealth, right? All right, so now $100, $1,000 can do that. Not $1 anymore, but 1,000, 100, 10,000 can change the trajectory of your family's freaking bloodline. And instead of your name being remembered as a dunce, your name, your children's children will remember your name and have paintings of you in all of their living rooms. We're still in that phase, guys. We're still early enough, but we're not going to be early very long. This is my message. I don't ask you for anything except to look and to get off zero and stop being a freaking idiot. I've been in the financial markets for 43 years, guys. I've never in my entire career seen an asymmetric bet like this. Never. This is the one you've got to make count. There's nothing that's going to come that's going to be better than this. Nothing. Nothing. Now, remember I told you that I had another example of this multiplier effect and how something can be instantly valued at a much higher price. Shit coins. All right. Some of you refer to them as altcoins. Yeah, they're all pieces of shit. Sorry. These guys get some VC backing, put together some piece of paper, make a whole bunch of promises, convince a few VCs that the story is powerful enough to attract a lot of dummies, right? And what they do is they go on road shows. They call up family offices and clients with big funds or what have you to get in on the ground floor during these road shows. Then they put their marketing team out to all of your major periodicals. They send materials first. So they, USA Today, Forbes, this and that, send materials out, set up meetings, talk to the crypto department, right? Get people familiar with it. Show them in the documentation all the big VCs behind it. And then the next layer is that they get all of the online crypto reporters, the crypto online magazines, and they make a contract and they pay monthly. We need 5 articles a month pumping these bullet points. Here they are. And here's your pay. And so every single month, there's 5 from this outlet, there's 5 from that outlet talking their bullshit, right? And then they go to the next level and start DMing people like me, DMing the YouTubers and the this and the that. I've got a $10,000 offer for you. I get them every freaking day. All right. I'll give you $50,000 for a segment, just one, and you got to keep it up for X number period of time. Every single day. And then all of a sudden, this is all pre-launch, and some dude or some group of dudes just say, why don't we just start this shit off at this price? I think people will buy it at that price. Now, they print 1 billion of these things outside. They print 1 billion of these things out of thin air and decide, let's price it at $5. So now you've got $5 billion valuation that some dude created out of thin air and put a freaking machine behind it. Now, all you need is one person to buy $5. And you value the entire bullshit $5 times all the existing supply. So when you see these networks that say this network is worth 100 billion, this one's 50 billion, says who? Most of the coins you have in your own pocket, you got a few people to buy a price and you're applying that of value across all the bullshit you have in your pocket waiting to dump on the public. Get at it. Listen, I'm from Brooklyn. Get out of here. That's what we used to say in Brooklyn. Get out of here. You don't get me with that bullshit. Only dummies fall for that. Do you understand? So when you understand how something can be valued, and manufactured out of freaking thin air, you see right through this bullshit altcoin, shitcoin world. This pre-mined bullshit where most of the coins are in the insiders and the VC's pockets, and they just got a few people to buy here, and they're valuing everything there. Meanwhile, if everyone sold, it would get zero. Come on, guys, you're smarter than that. That's not how Bitcoin operates. But it's important to understand that. It's important to understand how that operates so that you can understand the multiplier effect when it's real, when it's applied to Bitcoin. That multiplier effect is false there, but the multiplier effect with Bitcoin is real. There's no insiders. There's nobody that got the value free. Everybody worked. Everybody spent. Everybody put something out first. In order for you to buy one full Bitcoin, you got to work your ass off and get $63,624 right now. That's proof of work. Your Bitcoin is proof that you busted your ass. Do you understand? Your Bitcoin is the badge of honor that I'm a worker, that I am valued here, that I actually delivered value to the world. That's how I have this. I didn't create some freaking piece of paper and price it here. You know what I'm saying, guys? We don't want to fall for the BS, right? We want to stay with the real. All right. All right. People are asking me, is this coin a shit coin? Is that coin a shit coin? Everything pretending to be something other than Bitcoin is a shit coin. How could it not be? How could it not be? Guys, come on, you're smarter than this. We're trying to get away from things that men control. That's the whole freaking problem. That someone is in control of your money, your value, what you work for, what you bust your ass for, what you wake up every single day. You're thinking about, how do I provide for my family? How do I raise my life? How do I earn this to do better? And why should another man be in control of what you earn? Why? How is that fair? They can move it up and down. They can make you poor overnight just because they decide to. They can change the policy. Like you woke up every day for 30 years thinking that it's this value. And then some dude says, yeah, I think we're going to change the value and we're going to move it down here. What, dude? Like, but you told, I dedicated 30 years based on this. You told me this. Sorry. That's every freaking shitcoin out there, right? That's everything the system is. That's everything we're moving away from. Oh, we're changing the protocol. In 2 months, we're going to have it this protocol, and we're doing this. And if you don't like it, you can leave. And dude, come on. Like, we're escaping that. That's the whole freaking point. Stop being a dummy. All right, and let's just focus on what's real. And let's listen. I put aside childish things a long time ago. And all you shitcoiners, it's time to put aside these childish things. All right? All right, guys. So let's get back to the topic here. I gave you the example of the multiplier effect and how you can go to sleep one night and you can find Bitcoin at $100,000. You wake up and like, what? It can happen. And there's no way to predict when that's going to happen. And I'm telling you, it has happened to every single market. So it will happen to Bitcoin. You need to be in. All right. Let me just say this. Let me give you examples. there are many people here who know my history, and there are many people here who do not know my history. But I will tell you this. I've been involved in financial markets for 43 years. I started on Wall Street in late 1986. I am hailed as one of the most recognized OG traders on the street. I built some of the largest companies, organizations, and platforms in the industry. I have more traders than most organizations in the world today, over 13,000 in 95 different countries. I tell you all of that not to brag at all. What I do tell you is that I tell you this because I want you to understand that over the past 43 years, counting the idiot years, 37 years, counting the professional years, I will tell you this. I've seen what's called limit up and circuit breaker down my whole career in every single market. And I want to explain that so that when you understand this and you understand what can happen to Bitcoin, it'll help you understand what can happen to Bitcoin, right? So when I first started on Wall Street, right? I started in late 1986, and I'm still in my training period, which takes about a year, and right into the latter part of my year training, I experienced the crash of 1987. Guys, it was surreal. I saw people contemplating suicide. I saw people just leaving buildings with boxes of their personal shit. I saw grown men break down, just uncontrollably sobbing. I saw people that claimed that I don't know what I'm going to do. How do I tell my wife we lost everything? I witnessed this. This is my first year. It's crazy. These collapses in the equity market brought about was something called circuit breakers. These circuit breakers, people, right? They're supposedly designed to prevent the collapses. And today, there are circuit breakers in place at these levels: 7%, 13%, and 20%. Let me explain to you how they work. So in the US equity market, if the market drops 7% in a day, no one can trade for 15 minutes. Circuit breaker gets triggered. This is all algorithmically run. So all systems are tied to this algorithm, and you can try to buy or sell or get out all you want to. Nothing's going to happen for 15 minutes. The circuit breakers just close the market down. Now, even if you're willing to get out, sell, you can't. 15-minute close. They close the market. After 15 minutes at that 7% down level, the next level is 13%. And if it drops to 13% down in a single day, in the same day, 15 minutes again, markets close, no one can place a trade, okay? The last and final is 20%. After that 15-minute period or pause, triggered by the 13% circuit break point, if the market opens and the market drops to 20%, that's the final one. It's cut off. No one can do anything until the next day. The market's just shut down and closed. Now, these circuit breakers are they're marketed as we're protecting the public from total collapse, total ruin. All right. But in reality, they're protecting the system from collapsing. They don't care about you. They care about the freaking system. The system that steals from you, the system that takes advantage of you. Do you understand? They can't let that collapse. So these circuit breakers cause us to stop. Now, cause them to stop the market from having a total cascading collapse. Now, it's interesting that these circuit breakers are not on the upside. So if the market's up by 7%, nobody stops that. 13%, nobody stops that. 20%, 100%, nobody stops the upside. They just stop the downside. That's not your protection. That's to protect the system from collapsing because it's extraordinarily fragile. Do you understand? Okay. Now, Bitcoin doesn't have circuit breakers. There is no human being that can stop Bitcoin. There's no circuit breaker. There's no halt. There's no limit up, limit down, limit anything. It is the freest, fairest market on planet Earth that no human being can influence. So where it stops, it stops. This is important to understand. It's the only market in the entire world that is free. Every other market, another man controls. Another man other than you can control the market, stop it, halt it, shut it off. Shut this thing down. This thing could fall apart on us. Shut it down. Now, shut it down. John, shut it down. Yeah? All right, shut down? Okay. That's your life. That's your money. That's your wealth. That's your value in the control of another man. Can halt it, stop it, shut it down at will. This is what we've been exposed to until we've never had a choice, until we have now a freaking free market that no human being can control, touch, debase, cheat with, steal, confiscate, halt, stop. Because trust me, if they could stop Bitcoin, it would have been stopped. You don't think Bitcoin would have been stopped if they could stop it? It's unstoppable, right? It's not stopped because they can't stop it. Now, trust me, if they could, it'd have been stopped a long time ago. So that's important to understand that point, all right? Now, here's the other thing. I had stints as a trader in the futures market. And the futures market is quite unique from the equity market. Remember I explained to you, like the stock market has these circuit breakers down, 7% down, 13% down, 20% down, right? But the futures market does have the circuit breakers, or what's called limit up in the futures market, to the upside too. Because you can have, for instance, like copper start going on a run and it will just run to infinity. And that can be disastrous for the system. So what they have, or imagine oil. What if an oil price runs from 100 to 2,000 and keeps going because nobody can stop it? So they have these limit up prices, these amounts that are predetermined. If the price of the commodity goes here, we stop trading until the next day. Now, I've lived through a variety of these limit up scenarios, and I'll tell you one in particular. There was nickel. Nickel, guys, started going on a rip-roaring tear to the upside. Nickel. And it would hit limit up and nobody could trade it. So when it hits limit, you can't trade it. No one, even if the people who are short nickel, and it's going up and hits, they can't get out. They can't cover. So now they have to wait for the next day. So let's say the next day, the limit is here. Now nickel didn't trade to the next limit. It opened there. No one could trade. Not a single trade could take place because it opened at the next limit. And so now they have to wait for the next day where the limit is here. And it would just open at the next limit and not a single trade could go off. And it just kept limit up, limit up, limit up, no trading, just limit up, limit up, limit up, limit up. And the people who were short nickel were going bankrupt. Do you understand? They had billions upon billions, losing billions a day, and they couldn't get out because the market has this limit and it just kept moving to the limit every day. So people would crowd around their monitors in the morning and wait for the market open and say, oh, it's limit up again, no trading until tomorrow. So this went on and on. Now, who was one of the largest short holders of nickel at the time? JP Morgan. JP Morgan made a call. Do you understand? We're going under. If you don't do something, we're going under. And you know this is not good for not only the United States, it's not good for the freaking world. Do something. So guess what happened? They closed the entire nickel market. Close it. Forget the limit up. We're not opening anymore. We're just closing it. It's closed the market. We're going to close the market until someone's willing to buy at lower prices. Now, what did that closing do? The people who were long, squeezing the shorts, squeezing JP Morgan, right? They needed to get out. I want to realize my profits. I've got $2 billion in profits. I've got $10 million in profits. You close the market on me? Yeah. So the people that had profits on the long side couldn't get out because the market's closed. So what these people do is start to call and say, well, I'm willing to get out down here if you'll let me sell down here. Nope. Well, what if I'm willing to get out lower? Nope. Well, I want to get out. I don't want to be stuck here. Where will you allow me to get out? Well, what about down here? When they got enough of the people who are long to go low enough, that's when they open the market again, saving JP Morgan's ass. Now you can look this up, guys. This is crazy. Listen to me, guys. This is wild. You can't do that with Bitcoin. There's no limit up with Bitcoin. There's no limit up. When that moment comes, and it will come, it has come for every single market that has ever existed. Do you understand this, people? There's no market that this has not happened. That limit up scenario is coming to Bitcoin. And when this thing starts to run because no one's willing to sell. No short seller is willing to step in front of the train. And you and I am like, I'm not selling. I'm letting this thing run, man. When you have no short sellers, I'm not stepping in front of that train. That's guaranteed loss. And then you and I are like, no, I'm not selling. Let this thing run. There's no one that can stop it. It will go to infinity. You think I'm playing when I say infinity? It will break something. You can't stop it. If you and I don't sell, if the holders don't sell in sufficient amount, And everyone, the short sellers are trying to get out, and everyone who's not in is trying to get in. This thing could run 100,000, 200,000 a day. Do you understand this? I've seen this happen. I've lived this. The only thing that prevented these markets from not doing that was that they were all man controlled. Bitcoin is the only thing not controlled. And I am telling you, as certain as night follows the day, you in your lifetime, you're going to see this run in Bitcoin. You're going to see it. We're all going to witness it. All of us. And I'm not even that young. I'm going to witness it. And you had better be in. You had better be in, because there's no catching that. There's no stopping it, and there's no catching it. Bitcoin today is at 63,500. We're in short order. You're going to see days where the whole day is going to be $63,000 from high to low. And that's going to be freaking normal. Oh, yeah, normal day. High, low, $63,000 range. But now you can get one full one for 63. I am telling you, the day is not that far away where its daily fluctuation will be 63. When Bitcoin was at 100, I read the forums. Guys, I read every single forum that I could get my hands on. I just wanted to understand what was being said at every point during Bitcoin's 15 years. What were they thinking? I wanted to see some of the stupidity on the forums and some of the brilliance on the forums. I looked at every single post, every single comment as no matter how trivial it seemed, just to kind of get into that history of it. Do you understand? And I'm telling you, I read stories where Bitcoin's at $100, and none of these people could understand that at some point in the near future, $100 is going to be nothing as a daily movement. None of them could fathom. The whole thing is worth 100. They couldn't fathom that 100 for us is, dude, that's not even a freaking blip. That's nothing. And I am telling you, not decades, a couple years later, you're going to see Bitcoin moving 63. You're going to be like, that's nothing. 63,000 in a single day. That's nothing. We're still so early, but we're early, but your window of opportunity to stake your claim, remember that? To stake your claim and own sufficient amounts of the actual protocol to own Manhattan, that's disappearing. Will in the future you'll be able to own a little tiny little condominium on the 40th floor of a building that barely you can fit 5 people in for $5 million? Oh yeah. That'll always be available to you. All right. Buying the little tiny shoebox in a 40-story building on top of the value, the land, Manhattan. Oh, you'll always be able to be that dummy. But we can own the land that the building will ultimately be built on, and the little tiny shoebox condominium will be available to everybody else. Now, this era of being able to own the land, that's disappearing. That window's closing like this. Some people take issue with me and say, Oliver, how is that closing? How is that? You'll always be able to get the protocol. How many people today on planet Earth, there's 8.1 billion. How many people today have $63,500 to buy one Bitcoin? What percentage do you think that is? How many people in 2010 in the world could get one Bitcoin? All of them. You don't think the window's closing? Everyone on planet Earth in 2009 could have a Bitcoin because it was zero. Less in 2010, but almost everyone in 2010. It was a few cents. Almost every single human being could have a Bitcoin. Multiple. How many people now can have one? You don't think that window's closing? In late 2025, how many people? Bitcoin is outpriced. Bitcoin is outpricing millionaires today. People don't understand this. They don't, a lot of people who aren't really high on the socioeconomic level, they have this misconception about wealth. Wealth is not liquid wealth in most cases. It's tied up wealth that somebody has on some ledger that says that you're this wealthy. But that is not real. Real wealth is very scarce. What I mean by this is this. You might have a family that's in the real estate business and they've got like four uh they've got four tenements or four apartment buildings, and they rent out the property. And so they have these four properties. They own them. They put a little down to own all four of them, right? They've got mortgage, the insurance, they've got lawyer fees, they've got, repair, wear and tear, they got taxes forever, upkeep, the whole 9 yards, right? So they support themselves from the rents that come in, that they have to use the rents to pay for this, pay for the insurance, pay for taxes, pay for lawyers, pay for this. This person slipped on the stairs and wants to sue me now, so I got to pay lawyer for that. I got to pay for, snow removal if I'm in a snow area. If I got grass around, I got to pay for someone to cut the grass. I got to do all of that. Anything over and beyond all those costs, this family lives. They buy their groceries, their milk, their eggs, their whatever. Now, on paper, these four buildings are worth $2.2 million together. All of them are valued at $2.2 million. But they're just basically living off of the rents and not very well. On paper, that's a millionaire. You think that family can buy one Bitcoin today? They don't have freaking 63,500 laying around that they don't need for a long while. They might have a 401k or something like that, or an IRA, and a few stocks or whatever. But no, they're not liquid like that. At 63,000, you're outpricing millionaires today. And at 250, more. Let's not talk about 1 million, 2, 5 million, 10 million, because we're going there. Oh yeah, we're going there. And so this window of opportunity is closing, guys. And as I mentioned in so many different cases, and so many times yesterday in my talk, again, you got to take that talk in if you missed it, is that this halving, which takes place tomorrow, is the most, in my opinion, it's the most important halving in the entire history, in the entire life of Bitcoin for us. I'm not saying the most important for Bitcoin, I'm saying for us. It's the most important, guys. This is the one. This is the big one. And if you don't understand why, you need to take in my talk from yesterday. All right? All right. Let me see if I can take a few questions before I let you go here. Memory Miss Reinhardt says, your enthusiasm is palpable. Guys, I feel like I've got a second lease on life, I was ready to just retire from all of you bozos, really, and travel the world or something like that. But Bitcoin, it pulls me back in. Whew. But I'm leaving at 100,000. I promised you that I would do this until we get 100,000. Bitcoin price. That doesn't mean I'm selling. I'm never selling. I'm just saying that this stuff I'm doing, I can't. It's not sustainable for me, you know. And so I'm out, not for my family, but generally in the public. I wanted 2 years of electronic footprints, 2 years of podcasts and talks and sharing my views and my ideas, so that the same way I went back and I read other people's posts 10 years ago, I wanted that for people 10 years in the future. And so I promised I would do this for 2 years. And so we're coming upon the end of that, and I put a price on it, 100,000 Bitcoin, and I'm out. Now, someone actually recently just said this, guys. I want to bring this up because I do want to address it. Someone was like, let me see if I can put it here. I'll get this in a second. Let me just, well, why don't I just try to share this with you if I can? Let me try to share this with you. Should be able to do it like this. The screen. Give me a second here, guys. Yes, got it. All right. So this is my Twitter. Guys, if you're not following me on Twitter, at least we're not at 100,000 yet. You should be following me here on Twitter, but on x.com. But there was, I think it's this one. Here. You see this? This post here. So investor says, Oliver, I love your newest video, but I'm also a bit sad that you keep saying that you're out of here post Bitcoin 100,000. And that's true. So this guy says, well, it gives it a fleeting air. All right. Gives it a fleeting air. I'm sorry if it comes off like that, but there's a lot of work that goes into this, number one. Number two, there's a lot of time. I'm on here, how long? Over an hour. All right. I travel extensively. I'll be in 19 different cities speaking on the gospel of freedom, financial freedom. This year alone, I cannot do this like this. All right. So I've got to sort of narrow things down and dedicate it to my family, those who have been with me on this journey from 2020. We started this in March of 2020. All right. And if anybody needs receipts regarding that, I'll drop receipts because I record everything. Everything. All right. I never say anything or claim anything that I cannot back up. All right. So we started this journey in March of 20 at a Bitcoin price of 3,800, the lowest price, I should say. And we've been on this journey ever since. But, so it's just not sustainable in this format. Doesn't mean I'm disappearing off the face of the planet or anything like that. But anyway, let's see what other questions you might have. When are you in New York? I'm actually in New York next week, actually, believe it or not. This Trip says, Oliver, can you just say, look at it so we know this is really live? Why are there people who claim that something is live and they're not live? That's funny. Trip, seriously, they do that? People do that? Oh, this is live, but it's not live? That seems silly. All right. Yeah. Am I in Texas, Oliver? Yes, I'll be going to Texas this year. I'll be going to Texas this year, Austin in particular. Yeah, so I'll be in Texas this year. Houston, no, but Austin, yes. Good morning. Mode, I don't know where you are. It's not morning for me, but good morning. I appreciate that. Mark says you changed my life. I appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you. All right. Franco, I was with you on Bitcoin since December of 2022. Franco. I love that. Guys, what an amazing time to start, right? December 2022. You guys, that's crazy, Franco. I love that. I love that. Guys, the number of people that I got into Bitcoin, man, near the lows and early near the lows in 2020 and near the lows in 2022 it's just crazy. It's one of the things I'm somewhat proud about, you know. Let me show you this. I want to show you December of 2022, right? Look at this thing, guys. Look at December of 2022. Let's go here. Let's go on a weekly time frame and look at, let's get rid of this nonsense here. Heck is all this junk here. Look at December of 2022 right there. Boom! That's freaking awesome. I love that. There we go. Right there. December of 2022. And remember, guys, that I don't know, you guys, do you remember when right at the lows, people, I was doing this, remember? I was, let me see if I can show you this. Look at what I was doing. So I was pounding the table. I don't know if you can see that. That red arrow right there, that's where I was telling you I am buying every single day as aggressively as I can. And whoever is selling their Bitcoin to me today, this is the post. I have it posted here. Whoever's selling their Bitcoin to me today will live to regret it for the rest of their lives. And this is, I was guiding you there right at the lows, 15,500. That's crazy. Anyway, guys, I do want to thank all of you for joining me live here. I will be leaving, guys. Listen, I want to preface what I'm about to do and tell you that this is not something I am not trying to sell you on anything except look at Bitcoin, get off zero. Stop getting third-party information from bozos and idiots. This is too important. This is a once in a millennia opportunity. This is a once in a 1,000-year opportunity for the human race. The window of opportunity is closing. Just look. Just start to investigate yourself. Stop reading article titles and stuff. These people are idiots. Do you understand? And so that is really what I'm trying to sell you on. Now, a lot of you have been saying, Oliver, okay, I know you're sort of leaving off Twitter, whatever. How do I stay with you? There is a way. I have a group that's been with me since March of 2020. And as a matter of fact, when I get off this live, I'm going to post our day one video for you to see. All right, where I announce live in the video, it's dated online, where we made our first foray into Bitcoin. And from March of 2020, we've done nothing but accumulate using institutional accumulation tactics. So what I do with my group is we custody appropriately using single sig and multi-sig. We run our own Bitcoin nodes for total self-sovereignty. And I'll be going over with my members periodically how to do that and what the best nodes are. We have special Bitcoin guests that come on that address just my Bitcoiners. These are some of the top people in the industry. We do, reviews on specific Bitcoin wallets and Bitcoin services. I want all of my Bitcoiners to understand how there are possible ways to hedge against Bitcoin's bear market periods where you can actually potentially offset the negative effects without giving up your Bitcoin. It is also possible to even turn the downward drop in Bitcoin, which happens once every 4 years, into a profitable period. All right. There are not many people that can bring 4 decades of professional play without risking the asset to people. And this is what we do. And we also, with the advent of the ETFs, I want to teach and show how now we can add an income producing element to Bitcoin using the ETFs without risking your Bitcoin. So there's always this notion, well, Bitcoin doesn't have an income stream like real estate. Well, now it does. Yes, you can earn an income with Bitcoin without risking your Bitcoin, without giving up custody of your Bitcoin, without handing it over to another man. And all of these things. So these are things that are over and beyond the general public. We do it privately. We do it forever. So this is a family or a group that is forever. Now, I wish I could do it for free. I can't. I have a team. I have 28 people that work on this. I've got to pay them. I've got technology and how all of our systems work. I wish I could do it for free, but it's not banging you over the head. That is if you want to do this journey with me. You don't have to. Really, you can just buy and self-custody your Bitcoin and be done. But I will tell you this, my Bitcoiners will outperform you. My Bitcoiners will be better Bitcoiners than you. And my Bitcoiners will not be in the dark about anything. All right. And so, if you feel that something like that is worth it, here's the opportunity for you. I can do this. I'll just show it to you. I only open this up once every 6 months. Let me see if I can show it to you. I only do it once every 6 months, guys. And you have to make up your mind whether or not this is something that you feel has some value to you. It may not. That's perfectly fine. But I will tell you, whether you decide to be with me forever on this journey, we do it together. You know every single move I make, every single purchase, every single buy, all the levels, all of my activities. We do it together, hand in hand. We protect our Bitcoin together. We do everything together. We're on point together. We're self-sovereign together. You decide to do that, or if you don't, just get off zero, self-custody your Bitcoin. Don't get tricked into the idea that a spot Bitcoin ETF is the same as Bitcoin, that's bullshit. I don't care who says it. That is bullshit. Don't fall for that nonsense. Do you understand? Spot Bitcoin ETFs are not Bitcoin. Bitcoin is freedom. A spot Bitcoin ETF is not freedom. That's another financial Wall Street product. It gives you exposure to the price movement of Bitcoin, but it doesn't give you access to the actual item that delivers freedom and self-sovereignty. It's almost akin to you asking someone, wow, I like your Ferrari. Can I have a ride? And the person says, all right, I'll give you a ride. Come on in. All right. So you jump in another man's Ferrari, and the guy takes you around for 5 or 10 minutes or whatever. And then you got to get the fuck out, right? Because it's not your Ferrari. That's where the spot Bitcoin ETFs are. The spot Bitcoin ETF says, we have the Ferrari Bitcoin. You can catch a ride, but you're going to have to get out. All right. I'm not saying they don't have a place. What I'm saying is don't get them confused as the same thing as Bitcoin. So all of these things we go into, guys, we're together all the time. If you find this of value, I'd welcome you. Doors are closing for them, and they'll open back in the next 6 months. I do it every 6 months. But in the meantime, I'm on x.com, Bitcoin only content until 100,000. But I'll be looking forward to the having party, guys, that we're going to be having tomorrow with my Bitcoiners. I want to thank each and every one of you for joining me live, and I want to thank those who are listening to this and it's not live. All right, I appreciate you. I hope I've delivered something of value here. And until next time, ciao for now. Go to work. You know what to do. Stack harder, self-custody, and frickin' chill. Have some frickin' patience for once, people. My God, be loyal to something. For the first time in your life, be loyal to something. Have patience with this. All right? It's important. It's life-changing. All right, guys. Ciao for now. Boom. Boom.